We're just about set for the opening kickoff of the opening match of a brand new competition, the NISA Fall Championship Tournament, a league that was started in 2017. Trying to get on the ground here in the middle of a pandemic year. It's caused a bit of a start-stop nature to the season, but now we've got this 8-team tournament in the Detroit area, and we start off with a Detroit rivalry matchup, Jacob. Detroit City against the Michigan Stars.
Yeah, and like I said in the opening, Nate, being a Michigander myself, this is something great to see. When I was growing up, we didn't really have any pro teams in Michigan. So now the fact that there's 2 of them here, they get to kick off this first tournament. It's going to be a great one.
All right, let's take a look at the starting lineups for these 2 teams, and we'll start off with the Michigan Stars. Their starting lineup brought to you by HTC Tool and Cutter Manufacturing. And you've got to take a look at the owner's son, Steven Yunchai, 22 years old, a dynamic player in the midfield. He's one of the guys that'll look to get things going for the Michigan Stars.
Yeah, certainly, Nate. I think, too, when you look at this, you can look at these lineups, you can talk about tactics and a lot of that, but with these rivalry games, you almost throw that all out, and you really want to focus on having a good start, and it's going to be up to this Michigan Stars team to really impact that first maybe 10 minutes or so.
Now let's take a look at the starting 11 for Detroit City, presented by DMC Sports Medicine. And they've got a longtime soccer lifer, Trevor James, as their head coach. And he puts together a good starting lineup featuring a former MLS man in Kevin Venegas, who saw number 22 on your screen there. Let's take a break. When we come back, kickoff between the Michigan Stars and Detroit City.
Here. Yeah, I'm sure. Those guys are first division. Yes. Yeah, definitely. Do you play or you just I coach actually. You coach? Yeah. Back in the day, my teacher here, I started to soccer program. And we didn't even have the millage. We just needed the bus. Did you hear that? We got the shoes and we came from the drag, the jerseys and all that stuff. Nice. Back in those days, man, it was crazy. We played one team from Pontiac. Not Pontiac, I'm sorry, Ann Arbor, Pioneer. Yeah. They had like 40 players. They came out, we had 10 guys, right? We didn't even have full team. As a matter of fact, it was a championship, a state championship there. Oh, wow. And we went to Ann Arbor.
And we're just about set for kickoff in the first match of the NISA 2020 Fall Tournament, the National Independent Soccer Association. And we got a rivalry match between the Michigan Stars and Detroit City FC from Keyworth Stadium. And Detroit City, this is a really interesting storyline between these 2 teams. Detroit City, a team led by Trevor James. He's a man that's been all over the world, in professional soccer. He's coached and scouted at some of the biggest clubs in the world, in addition to working in MLS and for United States Youth Soccer, brought in to really give a good professional feel to this Detroit City team. And meanwhile, the Michigan Stars, a little bit of a different path. They are led by their owner and manager, George Yunchai, who is the father of that young man, number 7, Stephen Yunchai. And he's a young international player, went overseas to play professionally in both Spain and in Switzerland. Got a little homesick, came back to the United States, tried out with Detroit City, didn't make the team, so his dad decided to start his own team and go head-to-head with Detroit City. You want to talk about a rivalry? This is the origin story of a rivalry in the city of Detroit. We've got a Motor City derby on our hands, and you know that Stephen Yunchai is going to be a guy that is motivated in this matchup every time out.
Absolutely, Nate. And you know me, my stance on whether it's you're playing against your former team or in this situation where maybe a team that overlooked you, there's always that little extra added motivation. Yes, the game means something to begin with, but you throw that in and the whole background and the battle of the Detroit area, and I think we could see some chippy play here maybe early on, being that it is a local derby. But it's going to be interesting for me to see, Nate, can Detroit City really dictate the way that they want to play against this Michigan Stars team, or is Michigan Stars going to make it hard for that Detroit City team to break them down?
It's a picture-perfect day in the American Midwest, as today is officially the last day of summer, and the players will be enjoying some good conditions to play this match. And we, Jacob and I, will be coming at you with a couple of games per night over the course of this tournament. The next matchup after this one will pit New Amsterdam FC against the Oakland Roots, and that'll be the second game of our doubleheader today, as we're just about set for soccer, though, in this derby matchup between the Michigan Stars and Detroit City. Let's take a look at the keys to the match, and we'll start with the Michigan Stars, Jacob Peterson.
Yeah, and we've mentioned it before, but rivalry games just mean so much. How do they manage their emotions? Michigan Stars, they have a big lineup out there. They have a big player who's playing up top, who's a defender most of the time in Ben Tal. Can they find him? Can they use it and build off their momentum, really, because they're undefeated on this fall season so far. Can they continue that and get a result here to start off the tournament?
How about the keys for Detroit City?
Yeah, similar. Right away, that rivalry, you have to be able to manage those emotions. There's some local kids on both these teams, so they know each other well. They battled to a 0-0 tie earlier in the season. But that Detroit City team, can they break those lines of the Michigan Stars? And then if they are in possession, do they have patience? Do they move the ball side to side to create those openings, which will be able to break those lines and ultimately lead to chances, Nate?
Keys to the game for Detroit City, presented by Stroh's. And there's the opening whistle. The referee is Nicole Green, as the Michigan Stars immediately putting Detroit City under pressure and a shot away. And it will be out for a goal kick, but quickly, right off the bat, Detroit City pressing high up the field against the Michigan Stars. There you see Nicole Green, the referee in the middle today. Detroit City going from left to right. The Michigan Stars going from right to left in the all-white kits from head to toe. Max Todd, a recent addition to the Detroit City team, making the start today out of Edinburgh, Scotland. He's a dual national, both Scotland and Canada. Jacob, we talked about the difference in the philosophies of the two clubs in terms of how they came to be. George Yunchai starting a club for that young man, number 7, who was pushing up the field there, Stephen Yunchai. Meanwhile, Detroit City, a little bit more organic in their nature, but there also is a difference in the way they play. Detroit City, a team that a little bit smaller. They want to possess the ball, break the lines, connecting the back line to the midfield, to the forwards, where a little more size on that Michigan Star side. Well, you talked about it. They've got a converted central defender playing up top in Gani Bental, who typically is a central defender, but he's playing at the forward position today to be a big target man for them today. That's going to be something interesting to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And early on here, Nate, we see Detroit City is trying to build out of the back. And Michigan Stars, they're pressing high, and they've made it difficult for Detroit City to really be able to do that and get into the attacking half as they are now. But it's going to be interesting. Do Michigan Stars continue to press up high the entire game? And we'll see if Detroit City is going to continue to try to play out.
Stars probing up the right side. Max Todd with it. Ball whipped in. It's dealt with by Detroit City. Kind of ruts. And it was cleared away by Baki Goodman. There's Baki Goodman right there out of Sarasota, Florida. According to Trevor James, head coach, he was the team's best player in 2019. Mensa with the long switch over on the right-hand side. Looking for Bental, headed up over the bar by Kevin Venegas. And that will lead to the first corner of the match. And it will be for the Michigan Stars.
That was a good intervention there from Venegas. The Michigan Stars are pushing numbers up here. Good ball in there. And really, Bental's right there. Defensive intervention needed to happen, otherwise it's a free hitter there inside the 6-yard box.
They'll look to pick out Bental here, directed toward the near post, and out for another corner.
Again, we talked about that height. These corner kicks, these set pieces are going to be key for Detroit City to be able to manage that and defend these.
Outswinger whipped in, redirected toward the back post and saved off the line. Knocked back in for a goal kick. And I think that was directed toward frame by an actual Detroit City player, Kevin Venegas.
That's a good ball in, whipped into a dangerous area. And that's why you put a man on the post there, Nate. Anything that the goalkeeper can't get. And right here, as they think they were going to just push guys up and not try to build out of the back. But then they saw an opportunity where they could. But Michigan Stars, this first 5 minutes, Nate, they've really been putting the pressure on this Detroit City team.
When the owner and manager of the team, George Yunchai, decided to put this club together, they just held tryouts. They held a tryout in June and then another one in January. Well, I should say it the other way around. They held one in January, then another one in June down in Florida. And that's where most of these players came from. Word of mouth, put it out on social media. Looking for players, and a lot of guys that were either maybe out of contract with their club because of the pandemic or looking to switch clubs, came to the tryouts, and next thing you know, he's got a club on his hands, and they've had a good season in this really unconventional 2020. There's a header wide of the post.
Again, Nate, it's just creating that confusion and hectic nature in the box there. It's a long throw there, but similar to a corner kick almost. Michigan Stars, though, it's really having some success early on with winning those first aerial duels and then battling for those second balls. And a lot of this half has been played in that final third for the Michigan Stars.
Yun Chai playing it forward. Good header won that time by Joseph Aidu. Detroit City, though, in possession now. See if they can string some passes together. They haven't really been able to do so through the first 7 minutes. Goodman. Here's Matthews. Foul whistled against the Michigan Stars.
And that's a lot better there, Nate. You see Matthews coming off the front line there, getting involved in the midfield, helping on that build-up, getting some possession, which is exactly what Detroit City needed after these first 7 minutes, where you said it's really been hectic for them defending.
Steve Carroll's going to play it out. There's a man down for Detroit City. That's Cyrus Sadie, Liberian midfielder. Played his college ball at Michigan State. Take another look at might have gotten a little knee right in between the legs from behind that time, but he appears to be okay.
Keep coming, George. Keep coming. Let's shoulder B. Let's shoulder B.
Satrastegi on the right-hand side. Intercepted this time. Down the field looking for Matthews. Mensah does well to use his body to earn the foul.
Does do a good job there. Matthews can get that ball under control. He's got Max Todd out there too. Numbers up. Good defensive intervention there.
Ben Tall trying to hold it up. Here he is. Bouncing awkwardly inside the penalty area. And down for Michigan Stars. Referee says play on. Now a foul against the Michigan Stars as Max Todd was taken down. Zachary Reynolds, the guilty party. Alexander Satrastegi is the player who came away grabbing the side of his face after some contact inside the penalty area.
And Nate, Michigan Stars are making it really difficult for Detroit City to build out. They're pushing numbers high. denying that first pass from the goalkeeper out. And then they're doing a good job here of winning up those second balls.
But this time, Detroit City coming away with it. Here's Max Todd to Matthews. Cleared away by Amu Mensah. All the way back to the goalkeeper, Parker Sigrid, by the way, who is making just his second appearance for Detroit City this season, playing in place of the usual #1 for Detroit City, Nate Steinwasser, who is not going to be participating in this fall championship tournament because he's getting married this week, and with the bubble situation, he wasn't going to be allowed to leave the bubble, get married, and come back. There's a ball through, and we've got some contact inside the penalty area. And what is the call from the referee? Sigrid came way out, took down Satrastegi. He thinks it should have been a penalty. As we take another look.
It's a great ball in here from Reynolds. It's a diagonal ball. And it looks like Sigrid comes out, gets contact. I don't think he does, I think, to make the save right there. Be interesting, is the referee pointing to a corner kick here, or what's the referee gonna do?
Like Nicole Green went over to look at and talk to the far side referee's assistant. Sure seems like if it wasn't a foul, it should have been a corner. Otherwise, Satrastegi, he's grabbing that right side of his face for the second time in a short order. That's going to be a goal kick.
Strange one for me, Nate, but I think it is a good ball, though, there from Reynolds. That diagonal ball with good opportunity there. I thought actually Sigrid came out, made himself big, made it difficult, and I think he did get a save there. Fortunately, though, for him, he gets the goal kick as well.
Carroll under some pressure. Sadie working up the left-hand side, as is Tendi Jarira inside the penalty area. Now Matthews goes down at the other end, and it's going to be a corner for Detroit City. They're first.
It's great work from Sadie over there, spinning out a tight space, carrying the ball, and then playing a good little through ball in there for Matthews as he's running in behind.
Kevin Venegas making his way up the field to take the corner kick for Detroit City. That one's over everybody.
Just wanted to lock him in there deep, Nate.
It's going to be a deep corner. And Steve Carroll's got to make the run all the way back into his center back position now. 15 minutes in. Thoughts on the opening quarter hour?
Yeah, Nate, I think it's been a little hectic, which is what we said going in with the rivalry game. Being the first game of this tournament, too. Some chaos there. I think the Michigan Stars, especially early on, did a good job at creating some havoc in that Detroit City box. Had a few opportunities, one that was cleared off the line, a few more maybe half chances. But I think this first 15 minutes, you got to give the nod to Michigan Stars and say that they are really kind of pushing this tempo. We'll see how long you can press in this game, because pressing for 90 minutes is almost impossible no matter how perfect the weather conditions are. So we're going to see if that line maybe drops off a little bit. But so far in this first 15 minutes, I think their pressure, their organization, especially denying that initial ball out, has been really good, Nate.
Here we see Detroit City knocking it around a little bit in their back and forcing those Michigan Stars to do some running, but then in the end, Turns into a giveaway.
Yeah, but Nate, I don't hate that ball right there. I think that's something that as the Michigan Stars continue to press up, press high, maybe it's going to have to take maybe more of that direct route from Detroit City, though they want to play out. That's the identity that they've kind of established. But it might take that first ball out, maybe a midfield runner or a winger coming in off the edge to stretch that back line to really make sure that Michigan Stars can't just keep pressing and pressing and pressing.
Ball intended for Yunchai up the left-hand side. Out for a throw-in. Foul on the Stars. Connor Rutz was the man taken down there. Nice diagonal ball to the far side. Jarira. Jarira trying to get on the end of this one-touch pass, able to hold it up for a moment anyway. Now the Stars coming the other way with it. Blasted forward this time by Carroll. Catching practice for the Zimbabwean goalkeeper, Tatenda Nkaruva. And he is a national team player for Zimbabwe. And talking to George Yunchai about that goalkeeper, really interesting story how he made his way to the team as the offside flag will come up against Max Todd. But I told you about how Stars decided to have tryouts as they were looking to put this team together, and that young man had a sister who was living in the United States in the Detroit area and was emailing Mr. Yunchai saying, please give my brother a tryout. And he was saying, no, I don't know who your brother is. And she said, after a while, he said, do you have any video or a resume for him? And she said, well, he's the national team goalkeeper for Zimbabwe. And he said, well, why didn't you say so? And why is he interested in trying out for us? And he was looking to come to the United States, to the Michigan area. Brought him in for a tryout. Next thing you know, he's the goalkeeper for the team.
Hey, do you think that you would have led with that? You're the national team goalkeeper, right?
Right. He's played his entire career in Africa before moving to the United States. 20 caps for Zimbabwe. It's a dangerous set piece right here for the Michigan Stars. Been tall here. Setrostegi taken down. Foul called against Matthews. And another set piece here. And this could be within range for one of the Michigan Stars to have a go.
Absolutely, Nate. It's 25, 30 yards out. It's that distance where you can really hit it with some pace. You can go either over the wall or to the goalkeeper's side. We've seen this type of area on the field be a really good opportunity here for the Michigan Stars.
Tomas Bernardo to do the honors, right into the wall. Shot blocked that time. Siegfried sends it down the field. There's a mishit.
Yeah, but Nate, it was the right idea. See what he was doing. He was just trying to hit that channel ball. Obviously, it took a little spin on the turf, which you can see. There's no doubt that the turf's having a little impact on the game. Reading the bounce, it's difficult. And something that Michigan Stars, to be honest, have done really well in anticipating those second balls and really fighting and battling for those. As we might see another long throw here into the box.
Looking for Bental, that 6'5" target. Appeal for handball that time for the Michigan Stars, go unanswered. Cyrus Sadie heads it forward. And the danger is finally cleared by Detroit City.
It's just a chaos in the box right there. It's nothing necessarily complicated about it. It's not a beautiful buildup, but it's just put it in the mixer, make life difficult for those Detroit City defenders, and it's almost falling right there for the Michigan Stars. You would think if they continue this, and if Detroit City doesn't deal with those balls a little bit better, that Michigan Stars are going to have an opportunity here to break that deadlock, Nate.
Tendi Jariri cleared this one all the way out for another throw-in. Volleyed forward again, looking for Bental. And that clearance goes out for a corner kick.
You might get a call from me in a second.
This will be the third corner for the Stars. Diving hitter on the back post. Blocked off the line. Max Todd trying to clear it away.
Have another long throw in here, Nate.
Right into the sun.
Well done.
Matthews up the left-hand side. He's got support arriving. Try to roll that all the way across to Baki Goodman. It will end up in a corner.
And Nate, I think for Detroit City, the more that they can get Cyrus Sadie on the ball, the better. He's been a good bright spot for him the few times that he has here. Makes a good little move in midfield. Gets it up there to Matthews, who maybe just can't quite make the final pass, but Detroit City needs to find Sadie in those areas where he's able to drive one-on-one and make the Michigan Stars really defend, because right now everything's in front of them, and really everything's easy for this back line and this midfield. They're just stepping up and winning those second balls and keeping it most of the games being played in this Detroit City half.
Here come the Stars again up the right-hand side. Setrastegi that time missed, fired on the cross as he lost his footing, and it was easily covered by Sigrid.
Yeah, Setrastegi doesn't get the connection that he wants here, but he's in a good spot on the field again. Michigan Stars, it's not that combination play, 1-2s in and out, but it is effective right now so far for the Michigan Stars.
27th minute, scoreless between the Michigan Stars and Detroit City. Here's Sadie. Felt he had been obstructed that time as he Tried to touch it up the left-hand touchline. Appeals for handball. Instead, it'll be a throw-in. Foul. Actually, I beg your pardon, another throw-in. No, it will be a foul. Free kick for Detroit City. Cyrus Sadie to take this one. Second ball headed away by Amu Mensah. Blocked by Yunchai. Out for a throw-in. Steve Carroll going to make his way up the pitch to take the long throw in. Carroll, a native of Cork, Ireland. Couldn't get it past the first man this time. Chalbot with the interception, but Venegas keeping it in for Detroit City. Cross attempt by Carroll. Goes out for a goal kick. Carroll and Bental battling for that header. Reynolds now spraying it a little wide on the right-hand side, out for a throw-in.
So right look, though, just runs a little bit on that turf, but there was space out there for Michigan Stars. I think that, Nate, for Michigan Stars, when they play those long balls into Bental up there, if they win those second balls, that's when you go wide. And we've seen a few crosses, a few dangerous crosses here in the first 30 minutes. But that's where that space is. When they win those second balls, if then they can spray the ball wide after they establish possession, they're going to get more of those chances to whip in dangerous balls.
Chalbot launches it down the field, looking for Gani Bental again, but so far he's been marshaled well by Steve Carroll, who Trevor James says is his best defender. Sadie sending it up the left-hand side this time. He was looking for Max Todd. Sadie couldn't keep it in, but he'll get the throw in for Detroit City. Carroll this time puts it out for a throw-in.
They have another long throw here coming up for the Michigan Stars.
Captain Kyle Newell out of New Jersey. He's traveled the world a bit, played in Bulgaria, Denmark, Germany. Most recently with the Philadelphia Fury. A couple players from the Fury who, once they were out of a club, were looking for somewhere to go and looking for somewhere to stay, and they got in touch with the Michigan Stars. And mentioned George Yunchai a couple of times. He had an apartment complex that those players were able to crash in, and that was one of the deciding factors why they decided to come to Detroit and had their lodging already taken care of. Ben Tall, by the way, is originally from New York City, but moved out to Israel, and that's where he spent most of his youth. At 20 years old, he moved back to the United States to attend Baker University in Baldwin, Kansas, an NAIA school that's maybe about 45 minutes away from the Kansas City metropolitan area. Well, a site here at Keyworth Stadium that has become all too familiar in the 2020 global sports landscape, and that is empty stands. And that's not something that you would have otherwise seen in this game. One of the things that NISA, the National Indoor Soccer Association, is really looking to promote is the lack of territorial rights that you see in most American sports, where if you have a franchise, you have a little bit of protection that, hey, there aren't going to be other franchises in your league in your same marketplace. They're almost going with the opposite idea here, and that's why you get a rivalry game like this between two teams from the Michigan area. We're going to see it as well with the New York Cosmos and New Amsterdam. There's a couple teams from Southern California in this competition, and their attitude is that when you look around elsewhere in the world of soccer, the best rivalries are actually the ones that feature two teams that are not only from the same city, but from the same neighborhood oftentimes. And this usually would turn really a good, emotional crowd out, but they're not allowed to put people in the stands for this competition, which is really a shame. The Detroit City fan base really got a lot of positive publicity over the last few years, and with this rivalry game and the storyline we've told you about with the history of this new rivalry team, the Michigan Stars, there's room for a lot of fan interaction, and that always adds to the atmosphere of a game. But 2020, we make the best of what we've got, and what we've got is a rivalry match on the field, minus the fans this time around. There's a foul against the Michigan Stars, and man down is Tendi Jarira.
But Nate, yeah, I would echo that. In any other year, this game, these stands would have been packed. The Detroit City fans have come out. At being a Michigan native myself, I've seen it. The organization, the club build from the bottom, where it started out as just almost a men's league team on the weekend, and then developed into an amateur team, and now is transformed into a professional team as part of NISA. But the fans built it, and the club, and it's really an organic type of way that it's come about. And I've seen them grow over the years. I have friends who still live in the area who have gone to games, and they said, you know, it's just an incredible atmosphere. And what they're building there has really been special. Like I said in the opening, for me being a Michigan native and to see this 20 years ago when I was growing up, there were no teams really in Michigan at all to watch. Now players in the Detroit metro area especially have 2 teams right here. Detroit City has really been, I've been super impressed with not only their club and the way that they've developed, but the fan culture and the atmosphere. It's been really cool to see, Nate.
Well, and their general manager / head coach Trevor James was brought in to, I guess you could say, take this Detroit City team to the next level and operate professionally and continuing that progression. Here's Thomas Bernardo for the Michigan Stars, cleared away by Jarrera, but only just. It's a good tackle one that time from Max Todd of Detroit City. A couple of men down right now for the Stars, but they're in possession and they're going to continue to play on. And now they will play it out as Kyle Newell is the man still down.
I'm not sure what happened, Nate. I didn't see it. The Rivalry game gets a little chippy there as we saw 2 guys for the Michigan Stars go down. Hope he's all right here and he can continue.
Well, I was talking about the Detroit City general manager, head coach Trevor James, and some of that professionalism he brings to the table after a long playing career. Coached at Ipswich Town. There you see Trevor. Ipswich Town in England. He worked as a scout for clubs like Barcelona, Newcastle, Porto in Portugal, Sporting Lisbon, the England national team, came to the United States, worked as an assistant coach for teams like the LA Galaxy and the Portland Timbers. So he's been all over the place, and chatting with Trevor about this challenge. You know, he said it's one thing, and it's a cool thing, to be a cog in a massive machine like Barcelona. Work for that club, represent that club, be a part of all the trophies and championships they've won, but you're a small part in a big machine. Here, he is the custodian of a club that's still not in its infancy, because you just talked about the growth, but still at a very early stage in what they hope to continue to grow into. Here's a ball in that's headed away nicely by Venegas, and he gets to really be the guy that molds and shapes and grows that organization. In some ways, he said it's more exciting to be a part of a franchise like this at the level that he is. Sadie did well to get it forward to Matthews, and could be an opportunity for a counter here for Detroit City. Venegas, nice ball forward to Backy Goodman.
Yeah.
Michigan Stars some credit for recovering defensively there.
Yeah, Nate, I just wanted to lay off while they had that long throw in there, but I agree. I think that it's cool that you can have somebody of his experience come over here after working for all those different clubs, learning how the biggest clubs in the world go about their business, and then being able to apply that and build your own. And I mean, I keep saying it, but it is just cool for me to see, as somebody who cares on a personal level about the state of Michigan and the soccer there. There's a lot of good players. There's a lot of good young players coming up. And now to have an opportunity where you don't have to travel to outside of the state to a different academy system or whatever. You have professional teams in your own state. I think that's awesome, especially a guy who's in charge of it, who has seen how soccer is played at the highest level around the world.
Well, you've referenced your Michigan roots, but you're not from Detroit. So growing up where you did, how did you get into the club scene, and how difficult was that for you at that time?
Yeah, well, growing up on the west side of the state, Portage, Michigan, you had to go over to Detroit to play.
This ball pinballs off of the back of the head of Ben Tall and out for a goal kick.
There are a lot of players over in Detroit that come through the Detroit area that develop into good professionals. The clubs are there, the coaching's there. So being from a smaller town on the west side, it's just something that you have to go. But for me, if there was a pro team there, an academy there, and I am thankful and glad that I was a part of the Michigan Wolves youth club over there, which is a great club. I had a great coach in Derek Williford who certainly helped me in my pro career, but to have a pro club, it just speaks volumes to the growth of the league, and it's cool to see NISA being a part of that and helping that next generation of players develop and turn into professionals.
Well, 2 minutes left in this first half plus stoppage time, and we're still scoreless between the Michigan Stars and Detroit City. And Tall a little frustrated with his touch there as he tried to play it on the overlap. But an interesting challenge for that young man, 25 years old, typically a central defender, and coach decided to go ahead and put him up top, try to use that size today. The foul against Detroit City. It's Brandon Clegg called for the foul. And he's going to go in the book. First yellow card of the game.
Yeah, I think it was just a little bit late there. Abraham goes down. I don't think there was too much. There wasn't any malicious intent in that tackle. It was just late, kind of clumsy. Sets up a free kick here for quite a ways out, but we've seen the Michigan Stars be able to lump these balls into the box and create something really out of nothing here.
Set piece put into the penalty area toward the back post, headed back across, and it goes off the post. And then Clegg trying to put it out for a goal kick, barely does that as he put that one off the side netting. That was a good opportunity for the Michigan Stars. It results in a corner.
It was. It's just kind of a long ball in there. Amu Mensah, I think, heads this one back across. Good header in. A good toe poke there from Renato. Just doesn't get in. Hits the post. But again, Nate, it's just that creating havoc like they are right now.
That went pinballs off of Ben Tall and out for a goal kick. We are into stoppage time. We have 2 minutes of stoppage time presented by Metro Detroit Chevy Dealers to close out the first half. Best chance of the first half coming just moments ago for the Michigan Stars on a set piece that saw the Stars denied by the woodwork. Blasted forward by Chalbad this time. Bernardo with some good footwork.
Well done, very well done there.
Go ahead, George, go ahead. Keep him on his stride.
There's Bernardo again. Over the head of Yunchai. About 30 seconds left in this first half. Mensah. Launch this one down the field. It's over the head of the defender, Jarira. Good chance to put one last ball in the box. Not quite. There's the halftime whistle. 45 minutes in the books at the 2020 NISA Fall Championship Tournament. No score between the Michigan Stars and Detroit City. Halftime show is coming up. Halftime is presented by Queen Co. Tool as our Detroit Derby featuring the Michigan Stars and Detroit City is scoreless after the first 45 minutes. There you see Trevor James, head coach of Detroit City, having a conversation with his players. Not much in the attack for that Detroit City side through the first 45 minutes of the game, Jacob.
No, Nate, there really wasn't. They were doing a lot of defending. I think that those first 45 minutes, the Michigan Stars have to be happy with how they're playing. Most of that game was really played in their attacking half. A few decent chances, but more, it's just the more that the ball's in the box, the more that opportunities will come, like we saw there at the end of the first half.
And meanwhile, for the Michigan Stars, they were a team that was really pressing high up the field early and often in the game.
Yeah, they were. Like I said, they didn't want to let Detroit City get into the game, didn't want to let them build out something that Detroit City wanted to do, and really Michigan Stars stepped up their pressure early on, made that difficult, and really that's how the rest of the half really played out. It was a good opening play from the Michigan Stars.
Here you see Alex Stramble, the head coach of the Michigan Stars, going over their halftime talk. Highlights from the first 45 minutes coming up. Halftime in match number 1 of the 2020 Fall NISA Championship Tournament. Michigan Stars and Detroit City locked in a scoreless battle so far. Michigan Stars with 6 shots to 0 by Detroit City in the first half. Only one yellow card that coming to the Detroit City side of things. Take a look at some highlights when we come back. Halftime show continues right after this. Highlights from the first 45 minutes, and right at the start of the match, it was the Michigan Stars pressing up the field and trying to initiate the attack. Alexander Satrastegi had some decent looks in the first half. Seen the goalkeeper's left-hand side on the first two. Nice clearance on the back line by George Chomakov of Detroit City. Appeal for a penalty here by Satrastegi, and referee said no foul, but also awarded a goal kick, interestingly enough, on that play. Long switches were on for the Michigan Stars often in this first half, but nothing to show for it after the first 45 minutes. Best opportunity of the match came right here. Latter stages of that first half, but it went begging. And it is scoreless at the break. Second 45 coming up. Just about set for the second half of the Motor City Derby between Detroit City, who you see huddled up there, and the Michigan Stars in game one of the 2020 Fall NISA Championship Tournament. It's a competition that kind of had to be put together as NISA launching this league, trying to navigate a pandemic as well. They had an abbreviated fall season and culminating in this fall championship. Not all of the clubs who are in NISA are able to participate this time around, but we've got what should be a really good 8-team competition, starting with group play and then on into the knockout rounds after that, 2 groups of 4. Again, Michigan Stars in white, and they will be in possession to start the second half as away we go. And it was really Michigan on the front foot through almost the entirety of the first 45 minutes, out shooting Detroit City 6-0 in the first half. See what types of adjustments both teams come out with here. If you're the Stars, do you really look to change much, Jacob, when you enjoy that type of an advantage?
Yeah, Nate, for me, absolutely not. I think you saw it there just on that kickoff too. Simple ball back off the kick and then directly forward into your three big men up there, just fighting for those second balls. For the Michigan Stars, they have created a few opportunities, hitting the post right there, one cleared off the line. They just want to keep doing exactly what they have been doing. I think Trevor James, on the other hand, with Detroit City, they've got to figure out, can they continue to try to build out and keep inviting this pressure from the Michigan Stars, or do they maybe themselves go a little bit more direct and start getting guys running into channels, playing more of the game in that Michigan Stars half? Because like you said, to go through the first 45 minutes and not have a shot is not what you're looking at there if you're Trevor James.
There's a Mensa with a turnover, allowing Detroit City some possession in the attacking half, but quickly right back to the goalkeeper for the Michigan Stars. Tatenda Umkaruva. Talked about him in the first half, from Zimbabwe. Plays professional soccer in Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Zambia. I do under pressure. Phil gives it to Satrastegi. Matthews trying to hold it up. Can't quite do so. There's not much space in the midfield for Detroit City so far in this game.
And it looks like for Detroit City that they've swapped and put Cyrus Sadie over now on the right-hand side. He was on the left for most of that first half, and really the few opportunities that Detroit City got were because they got Sadie on the ball, got him running at guys one-on-one through the midfield, creating just a little bit of difficult decision-making from the center backs of Michigan Stars. But like here, we need him on the ball more if you're a Detroit City fan.
There he is, sliding a nice ball through to Matthews. His shot was denied by Parker Sigrid. Good save. The first action, really, that the goalkeeper, I beg your pardon, for Carva, the goalkeeper for the Michigan Stars, first time he's been really called into duty to make a save in this game. And that was exactly what you talked about, Jacob, that through ball from Sadie unlocked that opportunity.
Yeah, it was. See him playing on that side. Cut inside on that preferred left foot, and a good little slip through ball. But like you said, a good save in the end for a goalkeeper who really hasn't had to do much so far.
Here come the Stars the other way.
Come on!
Vintal. Chai shot blocked. Venegas and Uchai tangled up, and a foul called on Venegas as we take a look back at that opportunity. Best opportunity, only opportunity of the game so far for Detroit City.
And it's a good little interchange there. Todd finds it out here to save Matthews with a good through ball or through run. That's a good save, because that's a really good opportunity. And that's the first real time, Nate, that we've seen Detroit City been able to make those 3 or 4 passes in tight spaces in combo play and switch it out and get a good opportunity on that.
And Karuva with that right foot making the save, coming out and making himself big. And there you see once again Trevor James, head coach and general manager, told me that Cyrus Sadie, one of the most technically gifted players on the team. That's not really the question. Sometimes he Wants to see a little bit more work rate, a little more effort in the midfield to help win balls. But when he gets the ball at his foot, he can make things like that happen. Set piece in was knocked away by George Chomakov.
And Nate,
We'll be out for a corner.
Tell me one attacking player who really loves to defend, right?
Not many, right?
Not many at all. Because the more that Detroit City can find him, get him on the ball, especially in space where he's able to go one-on-one or to lift up his head and pick that final pass, the better it is going to be for Detroit City going forward.
Well, he's still working on his chemistry with this Detroit City team as well. More on that after this corner that's going to be taken by Steven Yunchai. And it's knocked home. A set-piece finish. And it's that man that they put up top for that specific reason, Gani Bental. He's a defender by trade, but he's good in the air, and that's why they put him up top, and he's made it 1-0.
He did, and it's been coming, as we said, the more set pieces that they get. Good ball in here, puts it in the danger area. There's just so many big bodies. There's a few guys there, but Bental's coming in unmarked, actually. Good header down. We saw one get cleared off the line in the first half. That one sneaks by Cyrus Sadie. Maybe if he's a little, it takes a little deflection there. I think that's what turned it in eventually. But a good header there from Bental. He's been in the mix. He's been around things. That's exactly what the Michigan Stars wanted. And quite frankly, Nate, they've deserved here through the first 53 minutes.
The decision made by George Yunchai and Alex Stramel to put their defender at 6'4" up top was because of that long and lanky build, his aerial prowess. He didn't really have to use his height for that one, though. He was completely unmarked. It's at the other end. Connor Rutz was able to get on the end of a header, but pushes it wide of the target. So we've had the two best chances of the game have come here in the opening moments of the second half, one from each side.
And it's a good ball in. Two guys are rising up, and yeah, Nate, Bental's wide open there. You'd think you'd mark the 6'4" guy a little bit better than that, but it's a good header still. He still had some work to do. He had two guys on the post and the goalkeeper. He heads it down, takes a little skip off the turf, and a good finish ultimately from Bental. It doesn't seem like the Michigan Stars are just going to sit back and rest on this lead. You can see him pushing up right away, still making it difficult for that Detroit City team to build out.
Matthews taken down. Foul called against James Abraham. Sadie again, we mentioned him. He's had the one real key pass as he's on the ball right here that set up the one-shot attempt for Detroit City so far. And I mentioned he was still working his way back in terms of chemistry with the team because he opted out of the first portion of the season during the pandemic, of course, which is still going on, but he wanted to learn more about the testing protocols. Players had the option to do that in the first portion of the season, and he took advantage of that opportunity, joined the team for this tournament. So certainly they're glad to have him back, but it might take a little while to really develop that chemistry. As you said, they want to get him on the ball as much as possible. Feels for handball that time on Tendi Jarira. Fall on deaf ears.
But Nate, you're right in talking about getting him back ingrained into this team this year for across all sports, but soccer especially too. The stop and start nature on it, which of course we understand. We are living through a pandemic, and you have to take the proper safety protocols and everything that go into it. But from just a purely soccer standpoint here, and coaches figuring out tactics and how everything fits in, it's really difficult to form an identity, to build those relationships out on the field when the season has been such a stop and start type of year. And that's obviously to the fault of no one. It's just the world that we're living in 2020. But it just creates all sorts of problems just purely from a soccer perspective on how both these coaches and other coaches around the league can really build their teams and play the way that they want to play.
Detroit City chasing a goal right now. Venegas dispossessed and then called for the foul. Venegas, 31 years old. He's played at just about every level of professional soccer in the United States. Most of his career with Minnesota United, and most of that time when they were in the NASL, then spent a year still with Minnesota United after they became an expansion team in Major League Soccer, but he's also played for the Indy 11, the New York Cosmos. Now here with Detroit City, brings a good veteran presence. And Detroit City is not a team, according to Trevor James, that plans on becoming a big spender. That's not the way they want to model their club. They want to build from within. They want to grow players. They want to make smart investments. And it's one of the things that will be really fun to watch in this NISA tournament. It's the different philosophies and backgrounds and origin stories of these clubs. They're all so different. They all have a different story to tell. Reynolds for the Stars, outside to Newell. Whipping across in, and it's redirected home. 2 headers, 2 goals for the Michigan Stars, and they lead it 2-0 in the 58th minute. This time around, it's Tomas Bernardo.
And Nate, this is a great build-up from the Michigan Stars. We haven't said that a lot today, but it ends in this. You get it out to Newell, who has good service in. He whips this ball in a dangerous area, and Tomas Bernardo gets there near post. It's a little glancing header here, but he flicks it to the back post. But Nate, it's that buildup. We talked about how the Michigan Stars were going more direct, but here they moved the ball from the left side of the field, circulated it over to the right, and Newell with a great whipped-in ball and a good header. That's a very, very good goal there for the Michigan Stars.
And no more than they deserve, it has to be said, through the course of this game. They have been the team that's really been driving the action so far in this one. Bernardo, a native of Chile. He made the team at the June tryouts in Florida. Detroit trying to answer. Idu clears it out for a corner kick. And we'll have a couple of substitutions coming up now. For Detroit City, one of their regulars, Michael Kafari, coming into the game. 31-year-old out of Boise, Idaho. And for Cyrus Sadie. Sadie contributed that one key pass, but just didn't have much more influence on the game. Didn't take the game by the scruff of the neck, as you might hope for a player of his skill level. And so Kafari's going to have a chance to try to make his mark now. Also, Kodak Lobsinger, that is, in for Yunchai. Detroit City up that right-hand side. Todd losing control. Referee assistant on the far side has raised the flag.
It's a big opportunity here for Detroit City. They have to respond after giving up 2 goals here to start this second half. The longer that this game goes, the more difficult it is going to be for them. They've struggled to score goals a little bit here in the fall season. Been decent defensively, but this is a big opportunity, Nate. They have to get one here pretty soon to make this an exciting finish.
Couldn't get it past the first man. Kafari knocked that one forward and all the way to the goalkeeper. Less than a half an hour to go for Detroit City to try to get back in this game.
Good player for Detroit City to be able to bring in off the bench there. Michael Kafari, a former teammate of mine with Sporting Kansas City for a season. A player who's played has a lot of experience, played around different levels of U.S. soccer, but a good experienced player to come in there, maybe add a little bit more stability to that Detroit City midfield.
Stars have been the more aggressive side so far in this one. 11 fouls to just 4 by Detroit City.
I think that shows, Nate, that the Michigan Stars have just been the aggressor. They've been battling. They've wanted those second balls a little bit more than Detroit City has so far here. Yes, they've played it pretty direct, but they're battling for those first balls, and then they're picking up a lot of these second balls, like here in the midfield, and then just sending it right back in. And those fouls, it just shows that they are being the aggressor of this game.
Newell, who's already got an assist to his name. That one hung up in the air, and Parker Sigrid, the goalkeeper, able to handle it. 2 goals by the Stars, though, in the second half. Gani Bental in the 52nd. Let's put him up 1-0, and then Tomas Barnedo in the 58th minute to make it 2-0. Foul against Detroit City. That was Michael Kafari, your former teammate, Jacob. We've got another substitution for Detroit City. Substitution presented by Strategic Staffing Solutions. Sean-Claude Lawson will come into the game, replacing Max Todd. Lawson, a native of Toronto, Ontario. He's now started in 5 of the 7 games for Detroit City this season. He's the all-time goal-scoring leader in club history. They'll ask him to provide some help in the attack here if Detroit City want to get back in this game. But here's another fingertip save by Siegfried. It could have been another headed goal by the Michigan Stars, Tomas Barnedo.
Again, Nate, it's a set piece. It's just causing all sorts of problems for this Detroit City team. Tomas loses his marker there. I think it was always going wide there, but that's a good opportunity. Siegfried doesn't know it. He has to get his hand to it just in case. But again, just that marking in the box for me isn't good enough from Detroit City, Nate.
Chai's already got an assist from here. Here's another header redirected toward goal and a good save from Sigrid. You knew coming into this game that size was going to matter. And so far, the Michigan Stars have made that size pay off. 2 goals on headers already, and they've come very close to scoring on a couple more here in the last minute.
Yeah, we talked about it as our key to a game, just dealing with that size for the Michigan Stars, and they've really another good opportunity there on the corner, but they keep coming. And as long as they have those big bodies out there, they're going to be first to those aerial duels.
Foul on the Michigan Stars here. Tomas Bernardo, he is the man that scored the second goal for the Stars. Detroit City have really had a difficult time breaking down this Michigan Stars back line. They've gotten behind them once, but a good save from Karuva.
And you said it earlier in the broadcast that it's just been difficult in that midfield, really. Detroit City hasn't been able to break those lines, haven't been able to skip guys out and eliminate Michigan Star defenders from the game. Everything's been in front of them. They've done a good job at keeping their shape and pressing as a unit, but from Detroit City, they've wanted to play out, they've wanted to break them down, and they just haven't been sharp enough in possession. A little pass just there was just not an accurate pass, and it runs all the way to the goalie. That's the similar type of things that we've seen all game from Detroit City. Just haven't been at their best when you know that they're capable of doing that.
Here's a chance for Detroit City to get forward. Kafari up the right-hand side, cutting it back, and a shot attempt. What a save, and the rebound is over the bar. The Reds had a golden opportunity. Tatenda Omkaruva, the goalkeeper for the Michigan Stars, has made a couple of wonderful kick saves here in the second half.
Hey, this is great interchange from Detroit City, exactly what we were just talking about. They have this ability to do. Michael Kafari, a big part of that, and good save initially, but that rebound, he knows that has to be in the back of the net. You at least have to hit that one on target, but it's that interchange. Kafari making an overlap from his midfield position, and this one, that one's got to be a goal, Nate. If Detroit City want to get something out of the game, they know that one has to be finished, but that is the type of soccer that build up and the interchange, runners off the ball, guys demanding the ball as well, getting in the box. That's what this Detroit City team needs more of going forward in this tournament.
I'm not sure what happened to the goalkeeper, Karuva, who looked like he was fine right after the shot attempt. What happens here? Looks like he's going to be making the most of a little tap from Jean-Claude Lawson. And this might be might be making a bit of a meal out of this, as and he did get his foot stepped on. Looking at one replay there by Lawson. Not sure if it was anything that was violent enough to lead to this type of reaction. We don't know. But I tell you what, it has to be said, the save on this last shot attempt was a really good one, because I think it was redirected, Jacob, and the goalkeeper was diving to his right and was able to get that left foot out as a reaction. That's a difficult play, and he's made two big saves this half.
Yeah, he has, Nate. As much as we've said the Michigan Stars have deserved this 2-0 lead, without those two saves, we're looking at a very different game here. And those were big opportunities, too, for Detroit City. They haven't had a lot of them, but the two that they have had were really good ones, and ones that you would expect, especially if you're Trevor James here, you're coaching this team, you expect those both to be goals.
It's like we've had a recovery from the potentially devastating foot injury and sent down the field by the goalkeeper.
Weird how that happens, right?
Might have been trying to buy a cheap yellow card there on Lawson. But if you're Detroit City and you want to get back into this game, like you said, Yazid Matthews, the South African striker, really that rebound shot he had, he's going to be seeing that one in his sleep tonight. Here come Detroit again. See if they can continue to find some space in behind that Michigan Stars back line. This time, it's well marshaled out for a goal kick.
Yeah, Nate, I can't tell if it's because maybe the Michigan Stars, now being into the 75th minute here, have dropped off a little bit, but Michael Kafari, as he's coming into the game, he's looked to get on the ball. He's demanded the ball off of the center backs, turned and tried to break those lines, tried to find the forwards or the attacking mid coming into those soft spots in between Michigan Stars back line and the midfield. We didn't see a whole lot of that. I can't really tell if it's because the stage in the game or if Michael Kafari is just taking it upon himself to be more aggressive.
Foul against Detroit City on the far side. Kafari called for the foul.
And a set piece in a dangerous area.
Come in this space. Come in this space here. Keep coming. Drop. More. There we go. George, one step right.
Toward the back post, a dangerous one. Venegas ushers it on. And then less than convincing clearance from Connor Rutz. We have a Michigan Stars substitution coming up here in the near future. With just under a quarter of an hour to go, Remy Kazifor, Cameroonian, waiting to check in. Turn out of pressure that time by Lobsinger. And we do have a substitution out for the Michigan Stars, presented by Queenco Tools, as Calazor will come in for Zachary Reynolds. Also, Brian Vang into the game for Tomas Bernedo, the goal scorer. Corner now for the Stars.
Yeah, I think Bernedo had a good game there. Not only obviously gets on the score sheet, but he just caused problems. He won a lot of those second balls. We saw him with some quick feet in the midfield on his left hand or his left foot. Good performance though by Tomas.
Yun Chai. On by Goodman. Now for a throw-in. Lawson. Now Goodman. Fired as well to win it back to Carroll. And a man down for the Stars. Detroit City gonna play on. Ball toward the back post, and there's a collision between a Stars defender and their goalkeeper, but they lived to tell about it. Still a man down. That's the captain, Kyle Newell.
Looks like he's dealing with a cramp there. His teammate stretching him out.
I heard somebody calling for a whistle to be blown there, but the referee's not under any obligation. Looks like Newell is going to need to be subbed off here. He's not faking it, but the referee doesn't have to blow the whistle unless he thinks player safety is in jeopardy or there's a head injury. He's asking for a sub. Right now he's not getting one. There he goes, asking for the sub again. Goal kick. 80th minute, Stars leading at 2-0. On goals by Gani Bental and Tomas Bernedo, who have both since been subbed off. Newell's going to hand over the captain's armband to his goalkeeper, Tatenda Umkaruva.
Got an assist on the Bernardo goal, but also whipped in some good balls. And was just a leader out on the field, wearing that captain's armband, making sure that the Michigan Stars were winning a lot of those second balls. I think it was a good performance from Newell. Like I said, hopefully it's just a cramp and nothing more than that.
Cameron Schneider checking in for him. Another Queen Co. Tools substitution for the Michigan Stars. Schneider, 23 years old. Played for a couple years in Costa Rica. He's another one of those guys that played with the Philadelphia Fury last year. Yellow card against the Stars here. On Brian Vang. Matthews fouled on the play this time by Devon Amu Mensah. Actually, I beg your pardon. That was Remy Tazifor. Guilty party on the foul, 83rd minute. And now everybody coming up for Detroit City. They need 2 goals to try to get something out of this game. Venegas puts it in. Goalkeeper comes flying out to punch it away. And a whistle and a foul. This time it was Carroll taken out just outside of the penalty area.
Good play by Carroll there to win it. As Venegas hits this ball in there. Good brave take there as he's coming over his defender, but this late in the game, you're seeing out the result. It's a big play right there to be brave in that challenge and come out and command your box.
Karuva's had a good game. Really all in this second half. Didn't have any saves to make in the first half. He's made a couple of big saves here. Commanding his penalty area on that set piece. Not a save officially on that play. Right into the wall from Venegas. Rebound shot also into the wall. Kafari trying to bring it down. Tazafor. Falls to Matthews. Both defenders over there. Cleared away by Joseph Aidu. Liberian national teamer, Aidu. A couple more subs now for Detroit City. Strategic Staffing Solutions, our sponsor of the Detroit City substitutions, as we got 5 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Kept in nicely here by Detroit City. Can they make something of it? Good last second defending on that attempted cross.
Leave it.
Hey, Detroit City, decent passage of play here. Maybe these last 5 minutes, playing with a little bit more urgency, pushing the pace a little bit. Would have liked to see this early on in the game for them, playing in that Michigan Stars half. But again, is that because the Michigan Stars, it's the 86th minute, hey, we'll drop off a little bit, let you guys have possession? Or is it Detroit City actually taking the game a little bit more aggressively and trying to push the pace? But it's like this intensity, if it was happening all game, it would have been a much different type of game for this Detroit City team.
Into the penalty area it goes. Cleared on by Cameron Schneider. Well done by Baki Goodman to get that over to Kafari. Carroll long diagonal. Goalkeeper out of his penalty area. Less than convincing with the clearance, but it's handled by his backline teammates. Maybe a chance here for the Michigan Stars. What a diving save again from Sigrid. Might have been headed wide of the target anyway, but Cetra Stegi had his eyes on a goal.
Yeah, Nate, and it was a good ball. Falls there for the Michigan Stars. Decent cross in there. Cetra Stegi coming in. I think it might have just been going wide, but nonetheless a good diving save there to his right-hand side.
Won't take any chances. Header cleared away as far as Lobsinger. Offside up, flag up against the Stars. Time running out for Detroit City right now. So this doesn't mean their competition is over. Still got group play to finish up here. Here's Vang, measures it up, and boy, he blasted it right off of Steve Carroll.
It's a good little turn, too, in the midfield. From Vang gets himself in a good spot, and he says, why not have a shot? He actually connects it well. Carroll comes over with a good block, but even now, Detroit City, they had maybe those 5 minutes where they had some sustained possession, but now Michigan Stars, again, playing the game right now, seeing out this game in the Detroit City half. It's an impressive performance when I look at the totality of it for the Michigan Stars.
Now they got a man down, the Michigan Stars here after that ball smacked off the side of the head. I believe that's James Abraham down. He tried to throw himself in front of this one as Venegas was looking to cross it or to have that long diagonal switch. Boom. And Abraham is an interesting story how he ended up on this Michigan Stars team. I talked about how the owner, George Yunchai, was looking to assemble this team in a short period of time. He was actually scouting talent in the Detroit area at a men's league indoor soccer game, and he saw Abraham playing and asked him if he wanted to be a part of the team. He is originally from England, came to the United States to play in Division II at Lees McRae College. He was working full-time as an automotive supplier and jumped at the opportunity and was kind of doing this as a moonlight gig, working full-time still for the automotive supplier company, and came to the owner and said, I'm going to quit my job and do this full-time. And he was making more at his other job, but just decided, you know what, I'm going to take this opportunity to play professional soccer as long as I possibly can. We have Metro Detroit Chevy dealer stoppage time of 5 minutes to close this one out.
I respect that, Nate. You got the rest of your life to work, right?
Right.
You got a finite time to play professional soccer. Good for him.
Kafari, Goodman, decent look, but he, as has happened too often for Detroit City in this second half, a shot attempt that's gone over the bar.
Yeah, Goodman, this is a good opportunity. Ball falls to him really at the top of the box. Good little cutback ball, and just can't hit it on target, Nate. Like you said, it just kind of sums up the Detroit City performance today.
It's good to see Abraham back out there. His team looking for their first win of the fall championship tournament. Abraham now trying to send it down the field. Tackle one back though by Jarira. Obsiger puts it in, but taken back by Detroit City. The goal mouth is open after the goalkeeper came way out, but shot attempt goes wide.
Seen it a couple times, Nate. He's getting a little adventurous there, coming off his line, wanting to get involved, which it's worked out for him twice now, but that one could have ended up, if that flicked on header goes into the open net. It's living on the edge here. For me, I'd say just stay on your line. He comes out, tries to head this one. And there, I mean, it's a flicked on header to an open goal. I think he puts his hands up there. He realizes that he should have stayed on his line there. Let your defenders handle that for you, especially here in the 93rd minute when you're up 2-0.
He's been in the mood. He's made some big saves in this game. He's been active, aggressively coming out of his penalty area a couple of times. 2 minutes left. There's a crunching tackle on Frimpong. Foul called against Abraham.
But it's just this Michigan Stars team is locked in. First pass out, they're going in hard. We talked about the fouls and the second balls that they won, but they really are being aggressive here. They're not letting Detroit City get anything easy. It's all been very difficult to come by for Detroit City because of this pressure from the Michigan Stars.
Stegi getting forward, all by himself, gonna have a go. Pushed over the bar by the keeper.
Good play there for Stegi, being aggressive. It's 1-on-2 there, but he pushes it, shifts the ball to his right-hand side, and has a good shot. Forces Sigrid into a save, but again, Michigan Stars right now, they're not gonna rush this. They're gonna take their time. They're winning this game 2-0 in the 95th minute. There's no rush here. You can take it to the corner and just see out the time here.
Just a matter of seconds left in this game. Good result for the Michigan Stars in this rivalry matchup. I think it's just got sandwiched into there. And this should just about do it. Rivalry pumps it forward. And there is the final whistle. Big win for the Michigan Stars over Detroit City, 2-0 on goals from Gani Bental and Tomas Bernardo. And how about for man of the match, we go with the goalkeeper, Tatenda Mkaruva, who made a couple of big saves in this second half, kept a clean sheet, maybe got outside of his penalty area a couple of times there, Jacob, but he made some big plays for that Michigan Star side, the Zimbabwe international.
He did, Nate, and he really was. He was aggressive. He was commanding of his box here in the first half. He didn't have a lot to do, but the second half here, that is a good opportunity, a good kick save there. And then, of course, this one, which takes a slight deflection there, changes it off course. He hopped right back up. Fortunately for him, the rebound didn't come to him. But this here, he's aggressive, coming off his line, wanting to get involved here, being brave in the challenge. It was a good performance for him. Like you said, he didn't have a whole lot to do, especially in that first half, Nate. But that second half, he made some big saves when he was called upon, which kept his team in the game and ultimately led them to the win today.
George Yunchai going to be glad that he finally responded to his sister's emails requesting a tryout as he gets a win in the first game of the 2020 Fall NISA Championship Tournament. So congratulations to Tenda. There he is embracing Mr. Yunchai after the big win. Let's take a look at the two goals for the Stars at the other end. We knew they were big. We knew they were going to try to win some balls in the air, and it started with that man, Gani Bental.
And they absolutely did. It wasn't just this one. It was maybe 3 or 4 in the first half where they just put the balls into the danger zone there. You might want to mark the tallest guy on the field, but this second goal for me, it was good interchange, good combination play. Out here to Newell, whips in a good ball, and Tomas Bernardo flicks that ball onto the far post. Really good finish there. And Nate, I got to say, overall, the Michigan Stars deserve to win that game.
Time to take a look at our final statistics presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. And you have to say that Detroit did at least get themselves into the game. 0 shot attempts in the first half. They had 6 in the second half. 2 of them on frame that were saved well. And the physicality of Michigan, 16 fouls to 6. They really just overwhelmed Detroit City in this game in the midfield.
Yeah, they did, and that's the other storyline for me when I watch it. It's just that willingness, just that want, has nothing to do with really the tactics and the technical ability out on the field. It's just who wants it more. And for me, when I watched that game, the Michigan Stars were all over Detroit City from front to back, really just the more aggressive team, and really played at that game at the tempo that they wanted to play it at.
One more matchup tonight in night 1 of the 2020 NISA Championship Fall Tournament, as the Oakland Roots will take on New Amsterdam FC. Myself and Jacob Peterson and I will be on the call for that one in just about an hour from now. Final score of this one, the Michigan Stars 2, Detroit City 0.